Hey, how's it going? America, that was yesterday. This is today. Welcome to another Honest Trailer Commentaries. Spenny is out on vacation right now, so you've got us. And today we are going to be talking about the Honest Trailer that came out yesterday for Team America World Police. I am Danielle Radford, as per always, I guess. Right here with Lon Harris. How you doing, Lon?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Doing pretty good.
Not bad.
Not bad. And so let's talk a little bit about Team America World Police a million years later.
Yeah, well, almost 20 years. I think it's 2004, so we're almost 20 years later. And the South Park guys are funny. Like Trey Parker, great writer. They're funny guys. I enjoy their sense of humor. There's a lot of funny bits in this movie. We have one in the trailer that I think is probably the best joke where he's like, you may need to take yourself out if you get captured.
Yeah.
And you think it's going to be like a cyanide pill thing, and he just gives him a hammer.
Yeah.
There's lots of good bits like that. But the politics on this one have not aged well. I don't think it's hard to watch this one in some ways. It's
going back, it was definitely, and we talk about this and we'll talk about it when we get into the trailer, but just recognizing and being like, oh yeah, that's that edgy mid-aughts comedy.
Yeah.
Like that's that stuff. I remember that now.
A lot of that, and just the politics of it too. Like I think if the idea was just, we're going to do a parody of like over-the-top Michael Bay American action films, but with marionettes. I think that's very funny, and I think they pull that off really well. And if it was just that, I think the movie would age great, and we'd all still love it to this day. But they also decide to add in this, it's also going to be a satire of the war on terror and the Iraq War and like the Bush administration and the Bush doctrine. And as that goes, it's like real cringy and tough to watch now that we know what a disaster all of that foreign policy was.
That final speech with the bunch of words I can't say. Right, YouTube.
Penises and anuses.
Yes, and the ones that go into the ones, and then the one hole, and that speech.
We're using all the different bodily holes as a metaphor for global conflict and being the policeman of the world and the war on terror. And it basically
didn't hit for me
this
time around. But again, it's just going back. It was that's what jokes were then.
Sort of.
I remember when I started doing stand-up, like during that aughts period, and like I have got, thankfully none of it on video, but I've said some regretfully bad, cringy stuff.
Sure.
Nothing like that, but like. Thankfully, none of the like ironic racism or any of that stuff, but definitely some stuff where I'm like, Danielle, what are you even saying? Like that doesn't make any sense. So it really encapsulates like that. Like this is a perfect time capsule.
Yeah, it was a moment in comedy where we there was this idea that we were sort of like, well, we're post racism, we're post homophobia. Like we as a people have gotten over all of that, and now we're able to look back at it and laugh. Yeah. And that was the prevailing idea. Not true.
No.
But that was the prevailing idea.
As the next couple of decades would show us.
Yeah, so when you see clips like Sarah Silverman on her Comedy Central show and blackface from that era, or like the South Park guys using the F-bomb for homosexuals in this movie over and over again, that was like why it was okay according to the culture.
I'm making fun of people who think that way, but you're still saying it.
The old Louis C.K. Like it's not a racist joke. It's a joke at the expense of racist people who believe race.
And yet I still get to say the word and get the laugh from it. So it's a way to and we all knew at the time that everybody was having their cake and eating it too.
It was always a little bit of best of both worlds. And this was what like Dave Chappelle, when he walked off Chappelle's show, like this was his sort of the meat of his complaint. And wait, we don't have to get into all that. But I was like, it's that issue on top of, I feel like Trey Parker and Matt Stone legitimately were more irritated by celebrities who were anti-war than they were the idea of blowing up Afghanistan and Iraq. Like Alec Baldwin and Rob Reiner being anti-war in the sort of, like annoying, self-important, condescending way in which they went about being anti-war was more irritating to these guys than the Bush administration, which is why George Bush, Dick Cheney, they don't get puppets. They don't get made fun of.
No puppets
but
for Bush.
Janine Garofalo's puppet gets brutally murdered.
It is a little bit of that that Jurassic World where like the nanny gets like the worst death, even though it's claimed now that she told Trevor.
Yeah, I think that actress said she wanted a
which is like, if that's dope. I would do the same thing, maybe. Be like, yes, please kill me as gruesomely as possible. But it does have that feeling of like, well, damn, why are they catching so many strays?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. And so I think, the move, like a lot of the comedy holds up better, I think, than the POV of the movie.
And I don't want to speak for Spenny here, but I know that he was also like, well, maybe don't get your politics from a puppet movie. But we'll ask him when he's back in. But for now, let's go ahead and start watching the Team America World Police Honest trailer.
Yeah,
love that. Brilliant.
Of the three of us, he was definitely the one who liked this movie the best. Spenny.
From the country that spread involuntary freedom from Asia to Afghanistan comes a film that takes a few pot shots at the American military, but drops an absolute nuke on the entertainment industry.
I'm not from Hollywood. I'm not going to your mouth, and my time is extremely valuable.
America, F yeah. Actors, F you.
Matt Damon.
Team America, World Police.
Matt
Stone.
I am curious as to how Matt Damon feels about this, because that more than maybe anything else from this movie, I feel like that's what stuck, is people saying his name like that.
Oh yeah, no, that can't feel. I mean, I think that you like take it on the chin, as it were. Oh man, that was a bad because the chin on the puppet. But I think that you do kind of like take it on the chin, but in public and in private, you're just like.
Yeah, because
like you're seething.
I feel like if you went to most people who were like, who are some of the celebrities who get puppets in Team America? I feel like people wouldn't remember. I really didn't remember most of them. I feel like the only one everybody remembers is Matt Damon.
Yeah, and like maybe Alec Baldwin.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But Alec Baldwin's got like the most screen time. But
yeah.
Matt Damon's got the memorable bit of just saying his
own
name.
name.
In the voice that we really wouldn't do
do
anymore.
now,
But
no.
in 2004, we were making fun of how people used to. We used to be so ableist and benighted. This is what passed for comedy.
But
Can
we
you
can
believe
still
it?
do the voice and get the laughs for it.
Irony.
It's so funny. All right, let's keep going.
And Trey Parker have cranked out 25 years of South Park, but that's overshadowed some of their most important work, the time they went to the Oscars.
We just wanted to be a part of it all.
It's a night of magic.
And the blackout drunk commentary track for Cannibal the Musical.
God, I'm so up, you guys.
But before Book of Mormon cemented their status as comedy legends, revisit a forgotten hit that's hilarious at times.
Now I have seen everything.
Really? Have you seen a man eat his own head?
No.
So then you haven't seen everything.
And dated in
I love that
others.
Hans Briggs! Oh, no!
But just goes to remind you, they've been doing this forever. Their dumb cartoon has outlived both of their biggest villains.
Saddam, would you let me do my job, please?
Come on, rub my nipples while I torture this little piggy.
You think puppets are funny? Hope so, because they're coming to the big screen in a big way. Not with the charm and cuteness of the Muppets, but more of a Thunderbirds or Captain Scarlet vibe.
Crash that helicopter. No!
Great Britain! No! Where even though the
Pause.
production was
I saw a clip. I had never heard of Captain Scarlet.
Yeah, me either.
I only knew Thunderbirds. And then, like last week, somebody posted to social media, to Twitter, that clip, a run of Captain Scarlet clips, which apparently was the same creator as Thunderbirds around the same time, but it was like super violent, even though it was a kids show. The puppets are really killing each other all the time. Like there was a clip of like a car accident where you could see the puppet getting crushed. It was unbelievable. So it was like an emergency. Like I wrote Kevin, it was like, we have to put in one of these Captain Scarlet clips. This is bonkers. And you can see like the puppet gets blown away and then electrocuted, and they're like,
Man, that was entertainment back then.
you remember these are for like 6-year-old. Like adults aren't watching the marionette action shows. Those are for children.
Yeah, definitely for kids.
I know.
I guess, except for this one.
It's a little
Let's
behind
keep
the
going.
scenes for you guys. That Captain Scarlet was a late addition.
Keep going.
Proceed.
insanely complex and difficult. They move the puppets bad on purpose for the sake of comedy. You know what? They're right. This is way funnier than trying. Meet Team America. They're like the cast of Starship Troopers, only slightly less wooden. There's Chris,
sorry,
who tried to warn us about cats before it was too late.
Rumpus cat, a cavity kept feeling up my leg. I tried to leave, but Rumpelteazer held me down, and I was raped by Mr. Mistopheles.
Joe, a big white slice of all-American dumbass.
I'd love to show her full moon night on the cornfields.
Sarah, the empathetic one.
Gary?
An infidel!
Gary?
And Lisa,
Like, that's
whose
right
love
out of
scene
Captain
is the
Scott.
filthiest thing to happen to a doll since Ryan Gosling auditioned for Barbie. Joining them is Carrie.
That sex scene with the puppets is so long.
It takes it's really long. You could tell, like, I feel like there were a few things that were this is why they made the movie. That's one of
Yeah.
them. The throwing up scene is one of them. And then the, like, destroying the entire city with the America song. You know, like,
Yeah, like,
I
those
feel
are the things that were,
I feel
like,
like they
that's
came up
the
with
top
those bits,
pitches.
and then the rest of the movie was like, what can we put to string?
We'll
these
put some
things
other
together?
stuff here, but first we got to make sure we have like 5 good minutes of puppet effing.
Just like passionate puppets, but also like in that it's not really well pulled off. Like,
Oh no, it does look like just like 2 people smashing their Barbies together.
right, like I think that because you can see they had this very sophisticated setup where there are all these, like, they could have made it look
Right,
more
but that's not funny.
realistic, but right, they're really leaning into the fact that
That'd
it's
actually be
awkward.
really disturbing. I don't want to watch like realistic puppet sex.
Like that Anomalisa stuff where, like,
Oh,
really
absolutely
they're really
not.
trying to make it look more lifelike, and
Not
it's
for
disturbing.
me. Yeah. Keep going.
Ms. Gary, an actor with exactly 2 jokes. 1, actors are dumb.
My acting saved the entire world. I'll never act again.
You can't outact me, boy. Don't even try.
2, puking is funny.
I can't even watch it. I do love a joke that goes from
stop.
like too
It's not
long
funny anymore.
to back to being funny.
No, scratch that. It's funny again. No one is safe from their withering satire, except for disaffected libertarians like Matt and Trey, who are always right for not caring about anything. From the clueless military blowing up the world.
Pause. What is that? Our third love in a row?
That's also your clue for next week. The next film we're doing, also an action climax that's set at the Louvre.
And we will say no more.
It's not Da Vinci Code. We did Da Vinci Code already, which has a big set piece sequence at the Louvre.
The Louvre.
Then this week, Team America, they blow up the Louvre.
The Louvre.
And then again next week, different movie, different climactic action sequence. Also, I believe it's underneath the Louvre.
The Louvre. Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't know why I say that like Medea.
Louvre.
Louvre. The Louvre. All right.
It's like streaming services that have plus. There's that French one, Canal Plus. So in my head, I always think of like, Paramount Plus.
Paramount
We're
Plus.
going to Paramount Plus for this one?
All right, keep going.
Damn, I missed him!
To the activists who are gay and bad for thinking that should stop.
Kapla! Kapla!
To the foreign people who look and sound different from us. Get it?
Durka Allah, Muhammad Jihad.
Is it still brown face if it's a puppet?
Yes,
But regardless
I'm
of
gonna
your
go ahead and say
tolerance
yes.
for early 2000s edge, there's still plenty of jokes that hit hard.
If the terrorists take you prisoner, you'll probably want to take your own life. Here, you better have this.
And just like all their other work, the songs are the best part.
Everyone has ace. Freedom isn't free. I'll just be lonely. We're gonna need a montage. Pearl Harbor sucked. America! Yeah!
So return to a time most funny people would beg us to forget in a comedy that mocks the tropes of 80s action movies
Yes, the ticking clock!
while having all the tropes of mid-aughts comedy. Ironic homophobia.
That is the way.
Ironic racism. And also, somehow, ironic adult puppetry.
Guess who? The crabs. Your pukes will grab.
Elmer gave Helen all the pleasures a woman could dream of.
Okay.
She had very large bosoms.
Cut. Nope, sorry. Not puppets who kill. It's funny, but Canadian. We're focusing on America right now.
Let me give that oatmeal some brown sugar.
My wife, you bastard!
Yeah.
Pause.
Sorry.
Before we get into the story, yeah, that was such a weird thing that there was all of this, like, oh, we're gonna take like these childhood things like puppets and make them all dirty. That was also like a huge thing. There was that show on Adult Swim, Wonder Show's In, that was basically naughty Sesame Street and like all of these. That was a big trend then.
Oh, it was huge. Yeah, it's like, ooh, it's like usually you think of this character as for children, but
what if it was for adults?
We made it naughty.
What if they F?
Like when I used to start, like as a kid, you'd come to like the big city and there would be like graffiti and like it was like Mickey Mouse, but he's on psychedelics, bro. Like what if Bugs Bunny was smoking a joint, man?
That's
like,
crazy.
It's like that level of comedy.
Yeah, and we did it a lot.
Yeah, I will say that Arrested Development clip we cut right before one of my all-time favorite Arrested Development jokes, where he's because the dad is George Sr. is strangling Franklin, and so you've got Job is like, yo, that's my neck, but he's also like, Dad, that's my hand.
Yeah.
Like, anyway,
it was funny.
Dad, that's my heel. Yo, man, that's his hand. And he's saying with Franklin.
God, that show was good.
Franklin's amazing. Everything with Franklin is so good.
So good. All right, and let's do starrings.
Tall Tom Cruise, Wood, The Guy in the Chair, Joey Utah, In Paths of Glory, Chris Pine, Dude Nukem, The Hunt for Red Oak Timber,
Great oak.
and
Buy crypto.
Stringsman, The Not So Secret Service.
Sorry, Matt David. We're just joking.
Sorry,
Ah, you breaking my balls here, huh? You breaking my balls.
Hang on, this is a South Park bit.
Randy, you're breaking my balls here. You're breaking my balls, Randy.
Is that allowed? Can they do that?
I don't think that's allowed.
You
can't steal a bit from your cartoon show and put it in your movie. New bits
only.
You're not allowed to say breaking my balls in a funny Cartman voice again. How dare you? How dare you?
All right, well, thank y'all so much for joining us. We're just going to take a quick pause right here just to be like, yo, we're happy that you're here. We're happy that you're watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for all the videos every weekday. You can hit that like, hit that bell, and then you can be notified of every time we're doing one of these silly little shows live. And so now I think we got some outtakes, so let's see what we got. And then after that, we will open it up to Q&A.
Starring Wooden Acting, Act Hard, American Duty, Lisa Lawless, Basil Ammunition, Roller Chair, From Husk Till Dawn, She Sense 8, Post-Traumatic Cats Disorder, Ill Communication, Jong Time No See, 30 Block, South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Strung Up.
G.I. jokes.
How did the interview cause an international incident with North Korea, but not this?
Boy on German.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah.
He didn't hear about this one. I don't know.
It just didn't.
This one didn't make it on his radar.
All right, so let's get into some questions here. What do we got? Oh, Evan J. Prudser asked, why do you think the edgy puppet trend even happened to begin with? It does seem very random. Okay, well, cool. We already touched on that one. Adam
I think
Holbert.
it's also just, it's like there's always something inherently about puppets being dirty that's funny. Like it's just because they're so silly, they're so childlike, they're innocent, and so that's always, even before this.
Yeah, just corrupting anything.
Like
that's supposed
Meet
to be
the
innocent,
Feebles,
sweet.
that Peter Jackson thing. But even going back to like I think the first puppet shows and like the medieval puppet shows would have been dirty.
Oh, they would have been filthy.
That's always been part of the appeal, I think, of puppets.
Yeah. Adam Holbert, what out-of-date comedy didn't work for you on a first recent viewing? Mine was Heather's take on suicide and shootings. I could see that.
Is the question like what old comedy doesn't?
Yeah, I'm
work
guessing
today.
just like what old comedy have you seen recently? Like, and maybe it's the first time you saw it, or
I mean, I think for me, a lot of stuff from this era, even stuff that I liked in this era, it like a lot of it doesn't hold up because it does. A lot of it always feels like it's a little it's going for that, trying so hard to be edgy.
Yeah.
And I just it's more funny when you're not trying so hard.
Yeah, I will say, well, I'd seen it before, but it had been a minute. But when we went back and did the 500 Days of Summer, I went back and I was like, oh, I remember when people were like, oh, this is like the cutest, like sweetest little comedy ever. And I'm sitting there watching it and I'm like, this is like just really, like it begins with the writer actually calling by her actual name the actual person Summer is based on, like a name. Like,
there's weird misogyny stuff. I will also say, Caddyshack, the bits that feature the comedians we all know and love, your Brian Doyle Murrays, your Bill Murrays, your Chevy Chases, their sequences still hold up. Rodney Dangerfield, there's a lot of great stuff. Ted Knight, a lot of great stuff in that movie with all those actors.
Yeah.
But that most of the movie is like the caddies, and that stuff does not hold up that well at all. Like, all the stuff you remember from Caddyshack is from like 20% of the movie. That's the adult cast, and everything else with the caddies is largely forgettable. I will say that.
Pericles Dragon Balls says, what other movies could have benefited from using puppets? Ooh, you know what?
Wow.
Honestly, now that we've talked about what a fun movie this would be if it was just like kind of not so based on the War of Terror, I would love to see Independence Day done with puppets.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That would be dope.
Yeah, I think in the same way that this is works best as a parody of like overblown action, like summer blockbuster action movies. I feel like something like using puppets for like a very dramatic genre, like a legal thriller. You know, like imagine
like the Pelican Brief.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine like a Grisham thriller or something, but it's all they're playing it totally straight. But it's all puppets. Like, I think that would be a lot of fun.
That would be so many slats.
Yeah, just like Pelican Briefs. I couldn't come up with a better example. That's the perfect. Or I was thinking A Time to Kill, but you're right, like one of those exactly.
Oh yeah, I would watch the crap out of that.
Roman J. Israel Esquire. But
no. Yes, actually. No.
I'd never seen that before. I just watched it the other day because it's on like Stars or one of those. It's really good. Have you seen it? Roman J. Israel. It's really Denzel's amazing. I know he was nominated for like an Oscar for it. I never saw it. He's amazing. It's a really good movie.
Turns out Denzel Washington, a very good actor.
Turns out. It's Dan Gilroy, the guy who did Nightcrawler, did Roman J.
Okay, that makes more sense. What do we see here? Jared Johnson, could a Team America sequel work now, or is the comedy too outdated?
I think if you went in with a totally different, like we're going to make fun of a different genre, like we're going to do things very different, and you updated the political commentary to be more 2023, sure. Like puppet parody thing, I think, sure, you could do it.
Yeah, I think I think if they did it today, you make fun of the Red Notice genre of stuff, throw in a little bit of superhero mocking, and I think that you got it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think that could still work.
What else? We'll take a couple more of these. James Bond, do you remember G.I. Joe: The Rise of Cobra also destroyed parents?
That's right. Yeah, they're goo. They use those goo bombs on the Eiffel Tower.
Goo bombs?
The first G.I. Joe movie, they're fighting like a super weapon, and it looks like snot. It's just like goo, green goo. But it like eats away at stuff, remember? So like they shoot it at the Eiffel Tower.
I think I put that in the memory hole, bud.
Disintegrates the Eiffel Tower and causes it to topple over. But that was one of those first big movies where it was just like the bad guy is just like goo. Like we're just shooting like this weird radioactive
Is that where we got the goo from?
I mean, it's one of like 100
Can we give the goo
movies.
back?
There's so many goo movies.
I want to give the goo back.
Then Quantumania is just like 90% goo.
Just all snot. Just all snot.
Just what if the goo was the entire movie?
Arthur Mingo says, which is worse for Matt Damon, this or being bounced from the end of Jimmy Kimmel all the time?
Oh, the Jimmy Kimmel bit's funny.
I feel like he's in on that one.
Yeah,
he's definitely not in on this one.
In on that one,
yeah. It's so funny, like this because they've worked with so many of the actors that like they murder in this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, at this point, they're as establishment Hollywood as anyone else. They've been doing it since the 90s.
Yeah. Wow. God, man.
Yeah. I was in college when South Park was new.
Man,
I'm looking at me gray. Old man now.
Got that gray beard.
Yeah.
And then I guess we'll wrap it up with this one from Raynard City Update Channel. Team America versus the Muppets. Who wins?
The Muppets.
I mean,
they're American icons. Come
yeah.
on. Their movies are so good.
But wait, do you mean like who wins the battle for our hearts, or do you mean like who wins in a fight?
Even in a fight.
Oh no, I think you set Animal Loose on them. And Team America
Yeah.
has got nothing.
They've got that guy who throws explosives at everybody, the dynamite guy.
That's true, yeah.
He's a Muppet, yeah. That guy, the other guy who could throw fish at them.
They've got Gonzo, who
the great Gonzo, who's got cannons.
you can just throw cannons at him, attack him with chickens.
Fozzie will distract them with jokes.
Oh, and then obviously Miss Piggy's got pig foo or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's so much.
Yeah.
All right, so we already gave you our clue for next week, and that is that I'm not going to do it again and again and again and again. We already gave you the clue.
There you go.
So we will see you all next week. Oh, I made that quick. Sorry.